Hey, Endless Temple here. I just happened to be at the museum, so I figured I would clear this up. So we're in front of the step switch right now, which was the same one in Tom Scott's video. So if I originate a call from the step switch, and leave the phone there, this one over here rings. Pick it up. And then you can talk between the two phones. Now, if I hang up the phone I originated from, this phone, the called party, will go to dial tone. Probably can't hear it on the iPhone, but let's just stick it up to the mic anyway. So in step-by-step offices, that was standard behavior, but only in step offices. Now, as I mentioned in the Tom Scott video, in a lot of California, they were only using step because it wasn't AT&T, at least not initially. So if you placed a call and then you hung up on the person you called would hear dial tone. It only worked if you were the called party, you would hear dial tone. The calling party would not. Now in the Bell system, especially in panel exchanges, it was different. So I'll walk over to the panel and I'll show you that behavior. So here we are in the panel office. And this is a switch that would have been used in Bell system, areas in major cities. So if I originate a call, and then that phone will ring. Great. Pick it up. So now we have these phones on a call, and you can see the selectors behind me are all up. There's the incoming, and there's the final. Now, if the calling party hangs up, which I will do now. Sorry, just holding a phone and talking is weird. So, calling party hangs up. The call gets torn down. The district got torn down. The incoming got torn down. But the final is still up. And because the final is still up, this guy here, no dial tone, just dead air. If the originating side picks up again, I can make another call. But this guy's just sitting at dead air, which is different behavior than what you saw in the step. If this was the step office, this guy would have gone back to dial tone. So, the way it's handled in panel offices is by these interrupters. Specifically, this interrupter right here. It's very slow. It takes about 120 seconds for one revolution. Now what this interrupter does, they all wiggle, see? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now what that interrupter does is after 120 seconds, if this line is still off hook, which it currently is, it will advance this selector and cause it to go back down, to hang up. When that selector hangs up, only when that selector hangs up and goes back down and resets, the phone that I called will then go back off hook and get a dial tone on the line finder. But that process takes 120 seconds, so it takes a minute, two actually. And it actually hasn't been that long yet, so the final selector's still up. I haven't heard it advance, so it's still doing the thing, but eventually it will advance, and then when it does, it'll reset, it'll go back down, and then the line finder will go up as if the person picked up the phone. And then if they still haven't, there we go, it just happened. So the final went down, there's nothing going on there anymore. And then now we have a line finder. And this guy has dial tone. Don't know if you can hear that. So, if this guy stays off hook, the switch will send him to permanent signal, which is what happens when you leave your phone off hook. And then now that he's on a permanent signal trunk, it's flashing at the desk to alert the switchmen that someone has left their phone off the hook, and then they'll do what they have to do, which is take this cord, plug into the permanent signal trunk, yell at the person to hang up the phone. So that is a little bit more detailed version of the difference between STEP and other systems like Panel, like Crossbar, etc. So if you were in LA in the early 20th century and you had a dial telephone, you most likely heard a dial tone when someone hung up on you, as long as you were the called party, as long as you were the person going, hello, and then they hung up, boop, dial tone. In Bell System offices, like Panel, Crossbar, would not have happened. You would have seen the behavior that I just showed you. Hope that helped.